We're gonna break down the NHL 23, NHL 26 gameplay trailer. It's just kind of funny how YouTube thinks this is NHL 23 when it's NHL 26. Let's take a look. Here we go again with the not all images appear in game. Hate to see that in a gameplay deep dive. Gameplay deep dive, but okay.
I've always loved Shell, so I am beyond stoked to introduce what's new.
Gotta get those pre-ordered. Why are you advertising this at the start of the trailer?
Which is now powered by NHL Edge.
Yeah, it's like you haven't even shown us anything.
Incorporating the data-driven innovation of NHL Edge, which powers how superstars play in NHL 26. The NHL's groundbreaking puck and player tracking technology uses 14 infrared cameras placed inside all 32 team arenas to capture data from sensors embedded in every puck and tags sewn into players' sweaters.
So that is pretty cool.
IceQ 2.0 uses that treasure trove of NHL Edge player data to impact how players perform in game. For example, we've reviewed Ovi's historic trends and performance data and used that to update his character's attributes and tendencies.
It is cool to see that they're getting actual NHL data that is seen in real life and incorporating that into the game.
So his skills are aligned with his real-life self, and AI Ovi will naturally position himself in his patented power play spot. But
just as they're saying it, AI Ovi. So this is essentially how the AI will control the NHL players that you see.
The appropriate time. Altogether,
so that's all like offline stuff. This is nothing for like online specific.
Attributes are one of the main pillars of how
okay. So that was a little unique animation there. You saw that from Ankle Breaker.
It's used to inform
this is okay. Elite Edges essentially doing that.
Top
speed, shot,
and wrist shot power.
Basically, how different players shoot is how you're going to see them shoot in the actual game. Top speed for Connor McDavid.
A difference you really feel in game.
I mean, this is cool to see. I'm not gonna lie, right? You want this stuff to be in the game, right? It's supposed to simulate real hockey, at least to some degree, right? So to actually have NHL data points and analytics that they're drawing from is a cool addition to see.
We have 22 unique tendencies spanning both offensive and defensive impacts that have been crafted to make.
Damn, they're even drawing from like defensive tendencies. Like it's literally their actual play style that they're trying to simulate within the game.
As you play, but it really comes alive with new animations and visualized breakdowns. Expanded replay insights highlight
like where they're scoring, where they're shooting, how they're skating. It's essentially everything. Threat analysis.
Player comparisons at face-offs to amp up
face-off percentage.
Speaking of, multi-story replays will now highlight important sequential game narratives. We've also created new cameras to capture those big moments and give them the spotlight.
Improved cameras.
The all-new goalie crease.
Okay. I mean, all that is just offline stuff, though. Like, that's the thing. I mean, it's cool. Again, I'm not, like, necessarily mad about it. It's almost like a presentation aspect of the game and how somebody skates, how they do stuff. Like, that's the visual aspect, and that will essentially affect the gameplay, too, right? So that is cool to see, but that's all offline, and that's already taken up basically almost 2/3 of the trailer. Now we got goalie crease control system, so now we got something actually applied now for goalies now.
Brings players an upgraded awareness between
just something you want to see, right? Goalies has been a major talking point amongst a lot of community players.
That gives goalies increased control over the blue paint. Previously, extended animation sequences saw goalies lock into
previously, as in other words, how we programmed goalie animations based on their stamina bar from the goalie fatigue gameplay edition that we added in NHL 24, and how that still has an effect now today. But this is, you know, how we're gonna fix that in some way.
Reactions allow goalies to respond fluidly
damn
to changes in puck direction.
Okay. Damn, Shesterkin.
That really add excitement to high-pressure moments. And if one slips past them, new goalie reactions let you feel their emotion when the opposition.
I mean, those goalie animations are kind of clean, not gonna lie to you. Slow motion? Oh, that was a deflection. He somehow tracked that? Yeah, right. I mean, I guess he can, right?
Waiting for.
We also know that the community has been wanting a
refreshed X Factors.
So
yeah, so here we're getting a new revamp to, or an overhaul to essentially the abilities in the game. They're kind of drawing from the same, but they've tweaked certain ones, they've taken out certain ones, they've combined certain ones, they've kind of added new ones, right? And there's different tiers to that. And this is kind of that. So they basically have 3 different tiers, right? Elite's obviously the max. All-star second tier, third tier here is the specialist. And they actually have actual data points, like actual analytics on each trait. So we know exactly how much that impacts that area of the game, essentially. Beauty backhand, big rig, spark plug. You know, you can kind of see if you go through these. I mean, there's only 3 of them in each category that we're seeing. There's obviously more, but wheels, lead edges, this is a new one. Second wind, and how that, you know, you can recover energy when you become exhausted, how much that affects. So wheels, lead edges, we kind of already have seen this. And then beauty backhand beauties, one that we've seen. Send it, ankle breaker, big rig, unstoppable. So this is the combining essentially unstoppable force and back at you. That's what unstoppable does. Big rig. And some of these, I'm pretty sure almost all of these have their own unique animations too. So truculence we've already seen. Spark plug is a new one. Hipster is a new one. And then the goalies, you know, they have their own unique as well. So this is that was new right there. You saw that from Big Rig, essentially when you're going around the bend. I don't know if this is its own unique animation tied to Big Rig as well. I think we've seen this before though. But now being able to shoot essentially with one hand, although I don't understand how effective. I don't know how effective that will be. And then we see obviously stick them up, quick pick. So these are ones that have been in the game, except, you know, they're gonna have, I guess, an increased. I mean, now we actually know what it does. I don't know if this is anything tied to how it was before previously, or if this is an increased effectiveness almost in terms of each individual trait. Like, I don't know if having a gold stick 'em up trait would give you plus 25%. I just didn't, you know, same with quick pick. I don't know if that gives you plus 60% pickup ability, 70% reaction time. Like, we just don't know because they never told us that. So now they actually giving us the analytics, which is nice.
Can be felt and seen more clearly in gameplay with new.
Okay, that's kind of ridiculous. Point blank, he's somehow batting it away because he has quick pick. But okay. Warrior, that's a new one. Hipster, new one tied to hip checks. Lead edges, you saw that from the point. Showstopper for goalies. That's the same toe drag animation, but a rocket for Bouchard. Okay, all right. Sidney Crosby, backhander. That was like a floaty. It kind of didn't even look like. Ain't no way he's shooting that from there and he's scoring. But okay. Like, the thing is, the question mark on this is how much, like, are these elite traits going to be so OP that when they're activated, there's like almost no stopping it? Like, that's the question mark, is how effective these max level traits will actually be in the game. Because it seems like they are pushing that narrative. They want to push the traits more to have it be even more of an effect on the ice. And obviously you see the pre-order stuff that they were advertising in the beginning. They could have just shown it here, honestly. This is one of those unique ones where there isn't really any actual like gameplay features being added. It's kind of just like they're incorporating the NHL Edge, Ice Cube 2.0, how the presentation of the game essentially affects the gameplay, which, if you think about it, it really isn't that much. But then obviously the bigger gameplay change is, I guess, going to be reliant on how the overhaul to the abilities in the game has an effect on gameplay there as well. All right, so this is a news article from EA. I'm going to put the link to this in the description down below. It basically goes over pretty much everything that has been discussed in the gameplay deep dive. But at the bottom here, there's a section where for community feedback. So this is essentially what we've been telling EA that needs to be fixed in the game. So the first thing here is the vision control. This is actually something that I've been preaching myself. We've added a penalty to consecutive pivot overrides in these situations. You can still use vision control to scan and protect effectively, but doing so repeatedly while skating forward is no longer the most effective way to move throughout the neutral zone. The intention is to reward smarter, more deliberate use of vision control and restore balance between control and acceleration when skating with the puck. So basically spamming the LT or holding it down to pivot and get around the bend of a defender is no longer going to gain you so much speed on them. Essentially, that's what they're trying to say is being nerfed heavily. So again, we'll have to see how that actually gets implemented, because I feel like you could still do maybe 1 or 2 turns of LT and you could probably still get that little bit of extra speed, especially if you do combine it with elite edges that is going to be returning back to the game. You may still be able to see that increased speed being seen in the game, obviously, and that might in and of itself still kind of look the same way almost. I don't know, we'll have to see. Hip check tuning, it's crazy though that they're addressing it now where they could have addressed it several years ago. At least I guess good to see. But I mean, for me, if it's particularly in forechecking scenarios, to me that didn't seem like a huge issue. I just feel like you could just move the puck very quickly and that was it. I mean, yeah, you would still get hit, but I feel like it's not like you gained any speed from it, so like you could still avoid somebody going for a hip check when it came to forechecking. But I mean, there was an issue at times, so I mean, it is cool to, I guess, to see it being addressed. Now, this is a big one that I was talking about: reverse hitting rebalancing. Larger players now have a clear advantage when absorbing contact and redirecting force through a reverse hit, which helps reinforce physical identity and role. Something that I've been talking about is that there wasn't a point to using a bigger build because it never actually had a clear advantage over somebody who was smaller. They could still get hit the same and get knocked off the ice, or knocked to the ice very easily, right? So there wasn't even a point to using a bigger build. Plus, you were just simply slower, so you were just at a disadvantage while using a bigger build. Now it's smaller builds can still use reverse hit situationally, but they will no longer be able to consistently win collisions against bigger players by default. This only addresses big versus small, but does it still have the same effect if it's a 160-pound player versus another 160-pound player? Like, the biggest issue for me was that if I was a smaller guy, but I came in with a lot of speed over the exact same size player, the player doing the reverse hit would still win. It should be size, strength, and speed into the hit. Like, if I'm going in at full speed, somebody who's stationary should not be able to knock me down with a simple nudge up, right? To me, if I'm coming in with a lot of speed, I should be able to win that, but that was also an issue as well, right? So if it's only big versus small and the small versus small, it's still the exact same effect, then that doesn't really change competitive play. But we'll have to see how that gets implemented. Puck skills, you can now pull up toe drags while moving backwards or laterally. Okay, I mean, that's just kind of expanding on the animations of the game. Also, a new fake shot animation with the ability to pass directly off of it, adding an extra layer of deception and fluidity. So that's something new. I mean, again, that just adds more to it. I'm assuming that's just something a part of the Ice Cube technology that's being added, or that's further being expanded upon. So again, these are good things, right? I mean, there is more, right? I mean, I always preached about that if you fixed the issues of the game that were already present, you would have an infinitely better game than what you have. The issue is that when they keep adding things to the game while not addressing the things that are problematic. So if you keep, it's not so much that you have to always add stuff to the game. As long as you're fixing what's there, I feel like it is a success each year. Now, obviously, there's always going to be the people that say, well, this isn't enough, there should be more. And I would agree with that standpoint, but obviously this is a yearly release with a smaller team. Of course, that's kind of their own fault, but, you know, with them trying to obviously release it every year, they could always just wait every few years to get more added to the game, instead of obviously requiring us to purchase the game at full price every year. That's obviously getting annoying, and obviously when there isn't that investment back into the game that following year, that's where people become pretty much upset. From an offline standpoint, with Be a Pro, essentially, I heard also is going to be revamped. The Ice Cube NHL Edge edition is going to really peak in Be a Pro, I feel like, for offline play, right? How the AI essentially controls the NHL players. So you should see that in full swing when you play Be a Pro. Something that has taken 5 years to even get remotely changed. So that is where most of that will take place. Online, it's mainly going to be the community feedback and then essentially how the traits affect the gameplay. There's going to be unique animations tied to the traits. So that's going to be the bulk of the change. Hopefully, though, they keep on expanding on the community feedback. Not just something that is addressed the following year, but something that's addressed throughout the year. We didn't really get that much, I don't think, in terms of anything that was changed, rebalanced, or anything like that. Like anything that was actually tweaked with the tuner update. Something that I would love to see more of happen when there is obviously an issue with the game. I feel like all this stuff could have been fixed throughout the year of NFL 25, but they just chose to do it now, here, for 26. So, I mean, take it as you wish. I feel like this is, you could say again, a step in the right direction. A lot of it, though, comes down to, pretty much all of it is going to come down to, we'll have to wait and see. I mean, can't take too much from a trailer, you know, a gameplay trailer, until you actually get your hands on it and feel how it actually is. So that's something that we're going to have to just wait and see. Anyway, let me know your thoughts down below. Be sure to like the video, subscribe if you're new, hit that bell, and I'll catch you guys next time.